All right. Good evening, leaders. Welcome to day 3 of the Unfolding Capacity Virtual Leadership Masterclass Super Week. It is truly an honor to gather with you again tonight. To every single one of you who has been with us over the past 2 days, thank you for your consistency, your energy, and your hunger to grow. We appreciate that. Hunger is a sign of life. And to all our first time attendees joining us tonight, welcome to the UC family. We are thrilled to have you with us. The past 2 evenings have been nothing short of extraordinary. On day one, our leader, Mujalifa Daniel Maluka, challenged us to embrace bounce back ability. Oh, what a title! To think, to adapt, and to rise with resilience. On day 2, Wipelo Soko grounded us in the heart of ethical leadership, reminding us that character is a true currency of influence. What a session it was. What an engagement that was. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. We are deeply grateful for the wisdom that both of them shared and poured into us. Tonight, we continue this momentum, yet with another exceptional leader in Faith Mneno. For those of you who have been with Unfolding Capacity Masterclass for some time, you do know that she was here with us earlier in the year. Faith is a strategy and business growth expert with over a decade of experience in South Africa's banking sector. She is the founder of FaithWorks Consulting, leading high impact business development and market entry projects across Africa and the Middle East. She's currently fully based in the UAE. Early this year, when she was presenting, Faith was in Singapore. She has built a powerful global footprint and is widely recognized for advancing African innovation and thought leadership. Faith holds an MBA and a master's in innovation and entrepreneurship and recently made waves. Yeah, what a powerful one. As a TEDx license holder, hosting a transformative TEDx Al Walsh event in Dubai. That was something else that deeply impacted leaders across sectors. Tonight, she brings us an important and timely conversation titled Social Capital, the Ecosystem Advantage. I am so excited for this. Her insights will help us understand networks, influence, collaboration, and how leaders can unlock opportunities through meaningful relationships and ecosystems. Before we begin, just a few important reminders. Number one, please remember to invite others. Share the link right now. When we're at this point, consider going to your WhatsApp, share the link with more people, remind people to attend, your friends, your colleagues, people within your leadership circles, because someone in your world needs to hear what will be shared tonight. I repeat, someone in your world needs to hear what will be shared tonight. So I'm going to pause for a second and say, please get to your WhatsApp, share that link, contact that person, remind them, force them if need be. They will thank you. Second thing to remember, certificates will be awarded to all participants who attended at least 4 sessions during Super Week to recognize your commitment to learning, leadership, and excellence. We encourage full participation. Use your Zoom reactions, engage in the chat room, ask questions, share insights, and let's create a vibrant atmosphere of learning. Leaders, thank you for showing up again tonight. Thank you for choosing growth and for choosing excellence, the culture from which all our work at Unfolding Capacity emerges. Let us prepare our hearts and minds for a session of depth, clarity, and surely transformation. Please join me in welcoming the phenomenal Faith Mneno. Faith, I'm going to hand over to you and give it away.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, leader. I am absolutely excited and humbled to be here. I think this family is literally becoming one of my favorite spaces. So thank you so much. Thank you once again, leader. And I just want to greet all the leaders on the line. And today is going to be more of a conversation. Today is going to be a conversation. I myself am going to be learning from the interactions that we're going to be having. I'm going to be learning from the insights that you have, and I look forward to you as well, just receiving what I have prepared for us tonight. What we are talking about is the ecosystem advantage. You know, and sometimes you must choose how to play the game. right? Sometimes you must choose how to play the game. You can play the game per unit, or you can play the game per ecosystem. And I'm going to unpack it just now shortly. I think, but what I'm trying to say is that adopting social capital as a strategy, not as a softanyana thing of being nice to people. So we know we must be nice to everyone. Social capital is much bigger than that. It's bigger than being nice to people. It's bigger than being kind. In fact, maybe the reason people have not really extracted the value of it is because we have undermined it to, or rather we've minimized it to just being nice. And yes, being nice is a very important part to it. But when we are able to start seeing the real value and the real magnitude of quality that sits in this well, then we're able to pay due diligence to it. So today we want to talk about the social capital, where relationships become your strategy, your growth strategy. Uba bendisecaweni bendizothi ake uthi amen if uyagizwa. But we are on Zoom.
Amen.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it's always, being on social links or other digital platforms is always an interesting one to navigate. All right. So I would appreciate whatever comments you have, keep them on note. I'm going to have a lot of time at the end for us to just engage. Right. So I'm just talking about how there's many strategies that people can employ to grow and to develop. There's different strategy decks. I mean, I think all of us at work, the one thing I do the most in my life is to build a strategy deck, deciding what strategy are we employing for this and that and that. And I have come to a recognition that social capital is one of the strongest winning strategies you can build on. It's worth the time. It's worth the effort. Even before I start on this one, can I just mention that somehow social capital is one of the strongest strategies, but one of the most difficult things to do. Abantu banzima kaloku sana. People are a lot. People are just a lot. But we have to do due diligence to navigate that space very, very, very diligently, and with the excellence that it requires, so that we can mine the value on it. I feel like I'm alone. Let me put on my video, because now I feel like I'm speaking alone, so that I can see you guys. I'm in the balcony. Can you still see my screen? Can you still see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. So maybe let me just take a step back, high level. I'm not going to go through all the details. There's a point I'm trying to get to. That's why I'm showing this slide. So I think from a career perspective, I think the Lord has been gracious to me. I've managed to, I think my latest role within the banking industry was head of a certain segment, one of the biggest segments within the bank. I'm a strategy consultant. I started my own consulting firm. So just from that role within the bank, of course, it gives you a lot of audience, right? Or rather, you get to meet a lot of people. I was a social leader and a pastor as well. And I mean, I've been involved not only in my church, but also just broadly in the kingdom of God, ministering in different places. And number two, that also broadens your scope of I don't want to say influence, but the places where people know you, or the places where you know people. I'm experienced at VLMC. I think a leader did talk about that briefly. I'm trying to get to something here. Give me a second. I'm a experienced TEDx leader, and obviously I've led TEDx events in South Africa and here in Dubai, and this has given me also some kind of exposure to a lot of market leaders, to a lot of good minds, and just a lot of people that I might not necessarily have known. I've got a very elaborate entrepreneurial instinct. I've done a couple of businesses in South Africa. I was one of the top 50s, and I was a coach, and I've been a coach, and I'm still a coach at the Thriving Network. This is where we engage with different entrepreneurs. I'm just trying to say, then the circle keeps getting wider and wider and wider. You get my point in it. And then obviously then my global trotting started. I've traveled wide in Africa. Now I'm in the Middle East. I've done Southern Asia as well. I'm just trying to say then that broadens the scope as well. Global student. So I just finished my second master's here in Dubai. I'm mentioning all these points to just see the different ecosystems that I had been part of. And yet I never realized this whole point of social capital until none of these ecosystems could help me when I needed their help. Let me pause on that one. It is one thing to know everyone. It is another to have a hub, or rather a high value social capital. It is one thing to be known by people. It is one thing to know people as well. But it's another thing to have a solid group of people that you can lean in, people that can teach you, people that you can teach. I'm just trying to say being famous and having a social capital are two different things. Then I realized, and I mean, there's a lot of things that brought me here, but I realized that it's never about who you know. Because as you can see in the previous slide, I know a lot of people, and even my friends will always complain that I know too many people. But the point is never about who you know. It's about who knows you. The point is not whether you know the executive at work. The point is whether does the executive know you. The point is not whether let me even be extra. It's not even whether you know your pastor and you like your pastor. The point is, does your pastor know you? Because knowing people is something that is within your control. You can just know everyone. But being known is an outcome of who you really are and how you show up. And unfortunately, it is not who you know that opens the door for you. It's who knows you that opens the door for you. Are you guys still there?
Yes.
Okay. So I realized that I might know a lot of people, but the question is, of the people that I know, who are the people that I can bank on that these people know me? And not just knowing me at the head knowledge level, but who know my value and trust my value, and who can bet on me in my absence. So maybe let's pause. I want to ask so I'm going to talk just now about how about how social capital propels you. But let's think about the spaces that you want to get to. I'm sure you know a lot of people in those spaces. So let's say you are a senior manager at work and you want to get into executive. I'm sure you know a lot of the executives. If you are in ministry and you want to start having a bigger ministry, I'm sure you know bigger pastors. If you're a doctor and you want to specialize, I'm sure you know a lot of specialists. The question becomes, of the people that you want to become, or rather of the spaces that you want to get to, who knows you there, not who do you know there? And I want to pause and ask you to do that audit, because it's that audit where you're going to start mining the value we're going to talk about just. Who knows you in the places that you want to get to? Then you guys are still there?
Yebo.
Yes, we are. Wow.
Yebo, yes.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to know that I'm not speaking to myself. Then I traveled. I packed up my bags in South Africa. So I left all of this profile, ne? And I moved into spaces where I literally know no one. There's no executive that can call and say, yeah, no, we know her. She has done this, that, and the other. There's no pastor that says, yeah, no, we know her. She has done this, that. I literally packed up my bags. Those who know me know that I sold everything that I have and literally just packed up my clothes and I moved to the UAE. Now I'm moving into a space that nobody knows me and I don't know anyone. And I mean, there's a lot of discussions we can have about that. But for me, it felt like an opportunity to reset. And there's a lot of things that I worked on, or rather because I had to sit down and do an audit of my life to say, Faith, what has gone well, what has not gone well. I mean, to be fair on myself as well, I do think I'm quite grateful to God, the pace and the things I've been able to do till this far. But I obviously had to pause and say, Faith, what else is that? What else do you want to become, and how can we improve who you are today so that you are more fitting for where you want to get to? So there's a lot of things I was doing an audit on. And one of the things I did an audit on is what I want to talk about today, which is then social capital. One of the decisions I made is that I need to be more intentional about building value around me, not just knowing many people. And because I've known many people, just because I know many people does not mean I can extract the value from those many people. Neither can I give that much value to many people. I mean, I can go into your WhatsApp just now and just check the people that you chat to. What value are you bringing? Or it's just people you know that you talk about this, that, and the other, just random thing. And I mean, there's space for those people as well. I'm just trying to say, we must be intentional about building connects of value. And value means different things to all of us. You know what you want to become and where you want to go to, and you have to be intentional to build value there. So I think for me, I was at a place where I said, my skill has taken me this far, but there's a level where skill can never take you, where social capital can take you. There's things that you will never get because you are good. You will get them because you know a certain, somebody has opened up to a certain ecosystem. So I went back and I said, all right, let's be more intentional about social capital. I'm going to pause a bit because I really need to hear from you. What do you understand when I say social capital? I'm going to pause for about a minute or two. What is social capital? What isn't social capital? Yeah, I'm going to get to that just now. But for me, it was one of the pivots. When I moved to the UAE, I realized that if there's one thing I'm going to have to adjust in my life, yes, I know many people, but I need to build the value in my social capital and notch higher. In fact, a couple of notches higher, and I need to be deliberate about that. And we're going to talk about how to do this now. But before we continue, let me understand, what do you understand when I say social capital? I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that I can see your comments. What do you understand when I say social capital? What do you understand when I say social capital? Social capital is people. Interesting. Thank you so much for that. Anyone else? I also do have a tendency of pinpointing people if you don't speak voluntarily. What is social capital? What do you understand is social capital? Associates, all right. Capital means something you can use to start something. You're getting somewhere, Doc. You're getting somewhere. You're getting somewhere. I'm going to give it 30 more seconds. What is social capital? Your network. Value that is brought up through networks. Okay. All right. Let me share again. So leaders, you are right. Thank you so much for those contributions. So I'm going to give a couple of thought statements before I even define and even before we unpack it. The first thing I realize is that when you build relationships, you're building pathways, and those pathways will fast track you into your purpose. You know, when you're trying to pursue your purpose, now you can do it the long route of trying to do it by yourself, or you can do it the short route of building the right networks that will give you rails to get there faster. Because every leader lives in an ecosystem, and when you connect meaningfully with that leader, they tap you into that ecosystem that might make it faster for you to get into purpose. So this is why building social capital is not just being nice to people. It is a strategic action, or rather it is a strategic stance that you take in order to build pathways that are fast tracking you to your purpose. I'm going to unpack this as we go along. Meaningful relationships are not just found, they are formed. This is one of the key thoughts I had to say. I thank God because I've been grateful that I don't know, people just somehow have migrated towards, amazing people have migrated towards me. But I think when I now step into a new economy where I know no one, I would have to be more deliberate and not leave it to chance. But I leave it to intention. I have to form good relationships. And I guess if it's someone who's in their normal habitat, for example, all of us are back in South Africa, you're in your normal habitat, and you can easily say, hi, you don't want to force relationships, they will happen by themselves. True and not true. There is a level of intentionality that you're going to have to put. You will have to share good connects to be your connects. And there's a meaningful way to share connects that we're going to get through just now. But I'm just trying to say meaningful connects are not found. They are formed. And it's through consistent intentional effort. The third key thought I want to share is that there is a level where you advance by skill. Oh, this one, I'm a testimony. There's a level where you advance by skill. You get promotions because you are good at this job. You advance because no, you are good at it. There is that level. But there's a place of seniority where that level loses strength. What gains strength is your social capital. Do you know that the higher you grow in organizations, it's not about how good you are at accounting, it's about how good you are at politics, or rather people management, or rather social capital. Even though those three things are not the same thing, but I'm just trying to say there's a certain level that your skill can never take you beyond a certain level. And it's great that we all have got skills and we are sharpening our skills, but your skill can only take you so far. There are places that it is social capital, or it is your network that opens doors for you. And I think even in my journey, I've realized that my skill took me only to a certain place, after which was my networks that advanced me. And when I get to a new economy, I'm going to have to be very, very tactical and very intentional about finding those networks. Otherwise, you are stalling your own growth. And there's people that insist that they want to grow by skill. Yes, you must have skill, but there's places that skill won't take you. Skill becomes just a basic, but there are levels where you're going to have strong social cohorts, build strong social capital to open certain doors. Investing in relationships, therefore, must become strategy. I'm going to pause for reflections on this before I continue. The last thought I want to put is your greatest accelerator is not always your title or your CV. I think I said this before. Or your qualifications. Your greatest accelerator is your social capital, not who you know, but who knows you. Should I pause for a brief reflection, and then we can continue. Your greatest accelerator is not always your title, and people are busy polishing their titles. People are busy updating their CVs, and that's great. It's just that at a certain level, your CV doesn't count much. It becomes the basic, and what counts is your social capital. Your qualification becomes just the basic. It's not what accelerates you. It's what brings you to the door. But beyond that, you're going to have to adopt social capital as a strategy. And I mean, this can be a very interesting discussion, because then people can argue that no, but there's the negative side to what I'm saying. And I mean, we can discuss that. I'm happy to go there. But I think what I'm trying to talk about today is that you have to be intentional, not about who you know, but also about who knows you, especially in the spaces where you want to get to. I want to pause. Let me pause and go through the chat, and let's see If you want to give me a 30-second, actually, I'm going to give 15 seconds. 15 seconds reflection, you can go for it. But otherwise, I'm going to go to the chat quickly. Any reflections? I can see a reflection, Doctor, that says, I tend to struggle with small talk. So starting conversation, people I don't, is stressful at times, especially if I'm not sure where we have anything in common. That's a very, very, very relatable statement. I fully understand that. And many people go through that. But the truth is that just because you can't do something, that's not a finality. That should never be a finality. Invest. There's books these days that teach you how to make small talk. I'm opening my phone because there's one I was reading just now. There's books that literally teach you how to make small talk. Literally.
Wow.
There's books. I'm just opening my blank list because I remember when I was coming back to UAE, I needed to refresh my memory. And there's a couple I can share with you a couple of that. But there's books about how to talk to people and make them like you. And those are things you want to invest in, because you've got 30 seconds or a minute with a person and they've already decided about you, especially if it's spaces and networking, in spaces like networking, where you have to quickly get people's attention. I'm just trying to say it's a relatable point, but it can't be finality. You have to build yourself towards being able to make small talk, because small talk actually can open you up to people's ecosystems. Let me take another reflection and then I'll go back to my slides. Florence says, I like to put myself out there when I'm in the environment where I know I can be appreciated. It has worked for me, absolutely, because I leave a mark and I know in the future somebody will say, I know a lady who does this and that. I met and she made an impression. That's amazing. That's amazing, Florence. That's amazing. If we had time, I'd actually would love to double click on this, because you are saying you get into a certain space and environment and you show your value, and people can carry and remember that as they continue. This works in many times. But I think you're going to see as we go to how to build social capital, I'm going to speak for and against it. Because you want people want to, when it's one of the small lessons I learned, Reboni, to your point earlier. One of the small lessons I learned is that people must feel great when they are in your presence, not they must feel that you are great. You must learn to make people feel great. And I promise you, then they latch on harder on you, because when they are with you, they feel amazing about themselves. And that's one of the books I was reading. And the question then becomes, when I step into a certain space, how do I signal my value, but don't anchor on it? Right? How do I signal my value, but not anchor on it, rather anchor on the other person's value, so that when we say, oh, it was nice meeting me, they must feel amazing about themselves that they met you. For me, that strategy has flipped the coin. I must signal my value, I must signal my worth, but after talking to me, you must feel great about yourself. Peter says, indeed, opportunities arise because of who you are. Arise because of who you know. God uses people to help others, absolutely. People must feel great when in your presence, not merely notice your greatness, absolutely. All right, let me continue, leaders. I think the point I was trying to reflect so far is that it became an clear intention for me to invest on social capital. Let's do this quick stock taking. I'm going to continue just now and talk about how to build social capital. Let's do this quick stock taking. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and I need you to answer them to yourself as honestly as you can. I'm going to ask, it's going to be 2 exercises, in fact. Number 1 is a quick one and easy one. In the spaces you want to grow into, who knows you there? I'll ask it again. And please note, I'm not asking who do you know. I'm asking who knows you there. And I'm not asking who knows your name and surname. I'm asking who knows you at at the core of your value. Because those are the people that are going to speak on your behalf. Those are the people that are open, because these doors open only from the inside. You can't open from outside, besides divine intervention. But largely, these doors open from the inside. And my question is that, can you please think about a space you are trying to get into? Give me 2 names of who knows you there. The true you, the value that you bring. Whether it's a church, in ministry, whether it's in work, whether it's in business, who knows you there? And if we've got someone that you've listed, I need you to be intentional about building that relationship. And if there's no one you know in the spaces you want to get to, our homework is that you have to start finding people there and make them know you. And we're going to talk about that just now. Second task is that second question is, give me 3 people, all right, 3 people, think of 3 people that really believe in you. People that really believe, and I mean, people ahead of you, people that really believe in you, then they're ahead of you. They really believe in you. They really think that you've got potential. They really believe in what you carry. They believe in your story. Give me a name or 2 or 3, or rather think of the name. And number 2, when last did you intentionally invest in strengthening your connection with that person? Because like I said, these doors are open from the inside. When there's someone who likes you and believes in you, are you leaving the development of your relationship to fate or to them trying, or you've been intentional about reaching out to them and strengthening your relationship? Unprovoked, not them talking to you and then obviously you respond. You unprovoked reaching out to them to offer value. And this is the intentionality that slows our progress. Okay, the unintentionality that slows our progress. There's people that really believe in you, but they don't have pressure for you to progress. You have got more of that pressure, but you're not assuming the relationship, the responsibility to progress that relationship. They believe in you, but it's not an agent. You're progressing. Yeah, they want you to progress and they believe you can. But I mean, it's not an agent burning thing on them. But it is on you, and the responsibility is on you to note who are these people and be very intentional about building those relationships, because doors are open from the inside. All right, let me move on. I think I'm anchoring a bit too much on this point. Are you guys still there, God?
Sikhona.
I'm glad.
Sikhona.
Amazing. All right. So most people think social capital is networking, attending events, collecting business cards, knowing many people, being smiling when greeting people. That's the basic. And today I need us to double click and really, really, really assess how can I build social capital? What is social capital and how can I build it? Because being nice is just a standard. All right. So maybe number 1, from a defining perspective, I'm going to go to the how just now, but briefly, if you can define it, it refers to the value that you derive from your networks. And that's why it's capital. I think that Dr. Dink did highlight on that. The capital part is how valuable is your mind when it comes to, or rather, is your friendship mine? How valuable is it? How much value are you deriving? Many of us spend time with people that we don't quite derive much value from. It's like a social chat with, and there's space for that, but I need us to be more intentional about spaces that hold value for who we want to become. I need us to be more intentional about spaces and connects that hold value concerning purpose. And the question then becomes, of the 10 people you spoke to today, what percentage falls on the people that are adding value to your purpose, or kind of that is aligned to your purpose? Because that's how we measure your social capital. We measure it by the value you derive, and obviously value is a function of purpose. Okanye is measured by your purpose. Social capital includes the goodwill, trust, information, influence, and solidarity available to individuals or groups through their social connections. I'm just trying to say many of us have many friends, but the value derived from those groups is not as much as it should be when it comes to our purpose. How many of your friends do you just sit and you feel like they are fueling up your desire and your urge for your purpose? In fact, it's a broad question. Today, of the people that you spent time with today, or maybe this week, how much time have you spent in connects that you feel are really pushing you towards who you are supposed to become? And we're going to have to build more of those hubs around us so that whether you go to the left or to the right, you are literally meeting people who are of high value to you and to your purpose. And that's what social capital would stand for. All right, I'm almost, I think I'm going to spend all my time that's left on this slide. 4 key principles that transform how you build relationships. Now, because remember, we are saying you're going to have to build more of the people that are in the spaces that you want to become, or the spaces you want to get into, or the person you want to become, or the areas that you can't be the only one that you know who likes what you like. I don't think I'm even putting it right. I'm just trying to say you have to have an array of people on your phone, on your WhatsApp, on your close connects that are what you want to become. Then you've got a rich social capital. Or rather, that are in the rails of where your purpose runs. Then you've got a strong capital. Because now they connect you to their ecosystems. Now you can learn from them. Now you don't have to go the long routes on certain things because you've connected yourself with people that matter to your story. So that it becomes important, how do you build those high value connects? Number 1, you will have to lead with contribution, not self-promotion. Now this one is very important. Because we are amazing people, when we get into certain circles, we want them to know how amazing we are. Because we are great, we feel like they will want to be our friends when they can see how valuable we are. When we get to certain circles, they need to know how achieved I am. And you feel like when people know how achieved you are, they value you. What I've seen and I've learned, and I mean, I've studied this as well, is that that's a very short-lived value. Or rather, it's a short-lived glory. When your glory is all about what you are and what you have done in a social construct, that's a very short-lived glory. Real high value social capital is about when you are bringing value to the connect, or you are showing people, or you are celebrating their value. You are bringing value, or you are anchoring on their value. I think that's what I was saying earlier, that people will love you more. And I mean, test it, just test it. Just test it and find someone and anchor on their greatness. Well, not anchor on their greatness. I'm trying to say, after the engagement with you, they must feel amazing. Not that after your engagement with them, you really have been affirmed and you really have been reminded how great you are. That's amazing. It's just not a long-lasting ray of glory. The lasting ray of glory is when you are contributing to their value. The lasting ray is when people feel amazing after meeting you, as opposed to you talking about how great you are. Now you're going to have to learn the art of signaling your value. but don't anchor on it. Signal your value, because I mean, when you're signaling your value, when people know how important you are, they know how much attention to pay. So you want to signal your value so that you get attention, but at the same time, you don't wanna be the hub, okay? You don't wanna be the altar of this connection. You wanna rather contribute to what's meaningful to this person. You wanna complement their progress. You wanna make them feel amazing, and I promise you, then you are building a strong. I wish we were in a room. I'd love to pause and hear on reflections on this one, but let me move. I'll open for questions a bit later. So number one, lead with contribution. How can I strengthen the ecosystem? How can I contribute in their life as opposed to let's shine on how important and how amazing I am? Number two, be consistent. People trust patterns. You know, there's people that you meet and your relationship is an on and off. It's an on and off. Be consistent. Consistent in checking up on those people that matter to you. Consistent on bringing value in those circles. Be consistent in the kind of conversations. You know, kind of conversation is a deliberate thing, yes? It's not something that happens by chance. Okay, if we allow it to happen by chance, then it is, we're playing the risk of our reputation just being left to chance. So you have to be consistent in starting meaningful conversations. Be consistent in checking in on people. Be consistent in building the relationship. Be consistent in adding value and not just on and off. Number three, investment. Invest in alignment, on proximity. Now, there's those people who always want to hang out. They always want to hang out. And that's okay in some cases. But when you are building social capital as a strategy, you want to invest on alignment, not how often we meet. What does alignment mean? What are they doing? What are they currently busy with? What's currently on their agenda list? And how can I connect to that? As opposed to, oh, my friend, it's been a while, let's meet up for coffee. And that's great. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that. There's something wrong with that. I'm just trying to say, be more deliberate about alignment than frequency of meeting. Alignment doesn't even need you to meet, for example, doesn't even need that much proximity. Alignment means understanding that, Mr. Amazement is building a certain thing currently. And then I read an article, I sent it to him. Can you see that I'm now connecting with him in a way that is meaningful to him? I'm indicating alignment to what he's doing. And I promise you, the people that you want to know, the people that you want them to know you, my English is struggling. Find what is meaningful to them and align yourself to that. That sets a stronger footprint in their hearts than you wanting to meet up for coffee and just chat about anything. Connect yourself to things that are aligned to them, and obviously, hopefully, it's aligned to you as well. I'm just trying to say, when you're building strong social connects, we are building alignment on purpose as opposed to building just proximity. Last part, honor relationships before you need them. There's nothing worse than those people who call you when they need something. That discredits you as you build your social capital. It discredits you as you build your social capital. Please try call the people that you want to become before you asking for anything from them. Just check in. Do you know that people actually appreciate those random, unsolicited, value-given check-ins? Hi, Amazement. Just wanted to wish you an amazing week ahead. Whatever you set your mind to this week, it's prospering. I saw that last week you were anchoring on the Super Week. Hope it went well. More strength. It's nothing I need from him, but it waters the ground from the day I will need something for him. So you have to honor relationships before you need them. So how do you build social capital? Number one, it's not about how great you are. Yes, you are amazing. Indicate your value, but anchor on them. Be consistent, invest in alignment, find out what's in their heart and what's in their mind and anchor on that. Even in conversations, anchor on that. One of my leadership coaches, Manda, he is amazing at this one. He can have a conversation with you about he will learn what you love. And in the conversation, he will anchor on what you love, and you will walk away feeling amazing. You will walk away feeling phenomenal, not because he spoke about himself, but because he realized what's important to you. And has anchored himself on that, or rather has anchored the discussion on that. And the fourth one I want to raise is honor relationships before you need them. Leaders, there's a lot more that we can discuss. These are just the four that I raised today, but it's an elaborate list that I could never finish. I'm going to pause here. But maybe the last part is that social capital grows with intentionality. Like I was saying, give a list of 4 people you want to become. Not want to become, but people ahead of you who you are inspired by, people ahead of you who model, the kind of future you envision. Intentionally build those relationships before you need them. And I promise you, they will open those doors because doors are opened from the inside. Thank you so much. Let me pause here. I will take questions, comments. I wish we were in a room and we can just talk about it. But it was amazing going through it, and I know I'll hear feedback from you leaders. Thank you.
Wow. I feel like I'm being robbed because I want so much more. I want so much more. You started some fire, faith on social capital, and now it's just this hunger that has been triggered of how can I effectively build that social capital? How do I do that? And the questions that you've asked us, the homework to say, do I really have the social capital? Or I just have people around me? Like some of us, we know people who know people who know people, but have we built a social capital? Have we been intentional about that for that matter? So yeah, no, it's a big one, especially to everyone, not just as leaders, to everyone who's in this room, to say, look, build better, be intentional about it. And once again, the word that keeps ringing in my mind as you presented is intention. What are we intending to do? Or are we just hoping to stumble upon it? As you said, that we don't stumble upon great relationships, we build them. But yeah, it's time for questions. For everyone that is here, please, you're welcome to pose a question, to make a comment. There's a question that's already put up here by Mwenya. He says, or he or she says, could you give an example on how one could contribute towards their connect or the network? Can you give an example of how one could contribute towards their connect? And I think they spoke about, they raised this question when you were speaking about not just focusing on oneself, but contributing to those networks. So that's where the question is coming from. There's also a question that is coming up from Dr. Rabapani. Please go ahead, say and ask. If you have a question as well, please feel free to lift up your hand or just unmute. But Rabapani, please go ahead.
Thank you, Doctor, and thanks, Faith, for the presentation. There is a connection between Mujalifa's presentation and yesterday's presentation. Let me start off by indicating Mujalifa was talking about living in a pack. You are not by yourself, you're doing life with others. Then yesterday it was about ethical leadership. But in part, there was an issue about meritocracy and that people will give you credit because you are credible, your character. Today is being intentional about the social capital. You think of that, you say people will pick you up because they know you. And that speaks to that connection about being intentional about your relationships and how you present yourself before people. And also adding on to this one, I want to bring this one in. There were people who knew who was going to be appointed a minister even before others knew about it. That was because of the relationship, the capital. So I'm just saying to Faith, it hits the nail on the head to talk more about that. That's my comment. Thanks, Doc, for the.
Thank you so much, leader.
Yes, Faith, there's a comment and also the question about an example that one
All
could
right.
contribute. Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, leader. Let me maybe start with a comment. I fully agree with you. We have to be intentional about building those connects. You know, sometimes relationship happens, but in fact, many times relationships happen by chance. What do I mean? No, we're at the same church so we met that way. Chance happened. Oh, yeah, we work on the same floor. That's how we became friends. And if you would audit your circle of friends, a lot of them happened by chance. But can you count how many of them do you literally sit down and say, I want to be friends with that person? And you were intentional and deliberate about building that relationship. That's what I'm saying. That let's not leave this building of social capital to chance. Don't say, yeah, they moved to our estate. That's how I know them. They are my new neighbors, because you've left it to chance, and that's great because sometimes chance leads us to great people. But you have to be intentional. You have to note who is resembling what I celebrate, and how can I get closer to them? And that's a question that you have to think about and actions you take. Let me go to the question. Give an example of how you can contribute towards their connect. I'm going to give such a random example because then it's something that we can literally do every day. Leader Amazement, I'm going to put you on the spot here. So I can't remember what happened, but I think we didn't have each other's numbers and we reconnected recently. Let me tell you how Amazement has built our connection. He will involve himself he will comment on my statuses. That means he is getting involved in what is in my mind. Are you understand? So if I write a status about nothing we can withstand the power of prayer, he will start a conversation about that. He will comment and say, yes, leader, A, B, C, D. Can you see what he's doing? What he's doing is that he's getting himself involved in things that are at core to me. Then that makes me pay attention now to him as well. So how you build connect, like I was saying, is that you don't, if he had came to me and says, Faith, I'm such an amazing leader, you must be friends with me. I am great. I mean, I lead this amazing cohort of leaders. I do great things. I wouldn't have been interested. But because he comes to my space and not, yes, he will signal his value, but anchors on what is meaningful to me. So how do you build your connects? Find people that you want to be close to and talk about what they are talking about. Comment on what they are talking about. Engage yourself in what they are talking about. And I promise you that leaves a stronger imprint in their heart than you trying to convince them how great you are. I think that's just a random example of how you can build your connection.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Mwenya gets it and he really loves it. I didn't know I was actually building social capital intentionally, but yeah, thank you, Faith, for reminding me and pointing out something that I didn't know it was that big. I think I'm going to do more of it now. I'm going to 10x it. Dr. Riboni and Masesebe Waramahuma, you have questions? Please go ahead. Let's start with Dr. Riboni.
Okay, thank you so much. Wow, my mind is blown. I feel like this was so timely for me. It's something that someone close to me has been trying to push me into because I feel like I've been leaving this whole area up to chance, and I'm really excited. I feel like you've explained it so well. And the examples that you gave were so wonderful. I feel so bad for the people that joined late. Like there's so much. There's so much. Please get the recording. And this also shows us who are here that this is an opportunity for us to connect with others by linking them to tomorrow's meeting and the next meeting, because it shows you see their potential and where they are going, and you say, okay, now I'm gonna link you to this because I see you. So I feel like it's something that we need to do more of, and it would strengthen our relationship, because indeed there are some people, after speaking to them, you feel so much better about yourself, and you don't forget those people. What do you want? You want more of them and interacting with them. And if there's a chance that you will work with them, you will try and work with them. Thank you so much. I'm energized. This is something that, yeah, I'm really going to do my homework. Thank you, Faye. Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for that reflection, Doctor. Thank you for that. May the Lord help us to become those people that after people talk, when people are done meeting with you, they must feel amazing about themselves. Not feel amazing about who you. They must feel amazing about themselves. And I promise you, I love how you put it, that they will never forget you.
Wow. There was Masebe. Are you still there? Do you wanna continue with the question? I see you lowered your hand. Masebe?
Yes, can you hear me?
Very well. Very well.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I appreciate my sister Florence for inviting me. I just came in today and I feel like I came at the right time. Mine is a quick one. It's not a question, but an addition on the statement that had to do with making people feel great around you. I just want to add that in order for one to be able to make people to feel great about them, they should start by being great and feeling great themselves, because I have seen a lot of people who are unable to be authentic around people, and they would also want to point out material things, and you find that from within they don't sound and look content. So to add to that statement, I just want to urge each one of us to just start by feeling great, and that would automatically come out, and then it would multiply. And to also say one thing in closing is that if we can learn to be people who are very authentic and always be willing to uplift the next person without expecting any reward, in that way, in that form, we will be great people that are making other people to feel great, and people would not frown when they think of coming to you and talking openly about whatever that they are going through. So with that said, I just want to appreciate and thank you very much for a very uplifting session. Ke a leboga.
Wow. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for that and for that contribution as well. And thank you to your sister who brought you in. Well done, Florence. Faith, thank you for answering that already on the book. For those who cannot see the chats because they're probably using smaller devices or phones, there's a question that about the title of the book, Small Talks, and Faith suggested that How to Make Friends and Influence People by Patrick King, and also How to Talk to Anyone by Lael Lowndes, and also The First Minute by Chris Fanning. So these are three books that one can look into to just learn how to build small talks and actually build relationships. I'm going to ask a question here, right? That is at the back, possibly of a number of leaders who are in this room. Faith. And here's the question. It's on leveraging networks without exploiting them. How does one leverage their network ethically? Yesterday we were talking about ethics a lot. So how does one leverage their network ethically, benefiting from relationships without crossing into manipulation or opportunism? And I think that that's the question that I want to ask. And from there on, I'm going to go to the question of expanding beyond your local circle. You see, there are a lot of leaders who are in this room and they have questions like, how do I get to connect with somebody like Faith? Where I'm working, I don't have people like Faith. I don't have people like, the people who are in this room, I don't have this kind of people. How do I reach out? How do I meet someone like Dr. Rabapani and actually have these conversations with, or find a way to tap into their space and align with them? How do I get there? So my question is that where leaders are struggling to grow beyond their immediate geographic or professional circles, what practical steps can they take to build cross-border or cross-industry social capital? Let's say you're in public spaces or you're in education and everyone you meet is a teacher. You hardly ever see any other person outside the sector of education. How does one grow beyond that? And how do they go about navigating those social spaces to build social capital, to increase and to improve their influence? I'm going to leave it there for now.
Thank you so much, Leader. Let me start with the second question. Then I'll go to the first one about how to gather value within ethics and without exploiting it. The latter one, how do you reach out, or rather, how do you broaden your social space? So there are obvious spaces like work, like church, like community, social spaces. Those are generally the physical places we find ourselves in. There's a lot of intentionality that you're going to have to do as well there, because normally we build relationship based on our preferences. You approach someone because you just like how they dressed. In other words, what opened up that door for you is a preference. You prefer them dressing this way. And yet there are amazing people who don't dress that way. And according to your preference, you rather wouldn't talk to them. Or rather, there are amazing people. I'm just trying to say, you're going to have to start watching the value that people carry beyond your immediate preferences, because a lot of those immediate preferences are what blocks real value out from us. We don't find the need to be their friends because they are not cool like you. Can you see that a preference has excluded you from a value that connects to your purpose? So I think the first thing is that don't use preferences to filter people. Filter people based on interaction, based on you've spoken to, not even spoken, you've engaged with the person at whatever level, whether it's at a close level or at a communal level, but engage with someone, assess their values, assess their priorities. Then you can start deciding whether should I want to be close to this person or not. I think a lot of us are excluded from deep, deep values because we just don't prefer their hairstyles. So number one, look beyond your preferences. Can you silence your preferences? They are not that important. They are blocking you from meeting people that are really important, right? So that's the first part. Number two, there are a lot of, okay, now this is for the immediate, for example, there's people at work that you don't like just because you don't like them, you just don't like them. It's just a preference that has been, you just don't like them. And yet they carry such a value for your purpose and for your line of work. Okay, I think I've explained that. The second part is there are different platforms that we have at access to connect with people outside our immediate scope. Now, one of the key things I've learned in Dubai is how to build solid connections in such a noisy platform like LinkedIn. LinkedIn is so noisy. Everyone is posting, everyone is trying to show how amazing they are. Everyone is inboxing, people's inboxes are full. Like it's a high street of social connect, LinkedIn. So generally when you inbox people there, for example, if now after this session, guys, and I'm saying this with the most humility in my heart, if after this session, you're going to inbox me at LinkedIn and say, hi, Faith, I really enjoyed your talk. I'd like us to be friends. Most likely it's going to be difficult if it takes off like that. Am I saying the wrong things? It's going to be difficult if it takes off like that. The better way to do it is to find a place where you can connect with me in something that's meaningful to me. I'm always advised, before you inbox someone, make sure that you are present and visible in what is meaningful to them. So every day, I'm in the UAE, I'm trying to connect with people. I would highlight this week, there's 7 people I want to connect with. I will mark what they are posting and I will comment on it. And I will write a comment and tag them, and it has to align with what I'm just trying to say, get onto the spaces that entice that person. Ne? Because then they start paying attention to you. Then they start saying, who's Faith? Kanti, if I just go and send an inbox, I become one of the messes that are sending many inboxes. So you have to first connect at a place that is meaningful to Faith. Then use that as an entry point. Let's say you want to be friends with Amazement. You are meeting him here for the first time. When he's going to post the status tomorrow on LinkedIn, go to there and comment on it. And then he's going to post another one in the afternoon about tomorrow's session. Go there and comment on it, like it and comment it on it. Engage, ask him a thought-provoking question on his statuses. Then that creates a certain mark such that when you now send an invite and when you now send an inbox, you are working on an elevated ground. So I'm just trying to say, before you do the general route of inviting people and inboxing people, get involved in what's meaningful to them. The mind will subconsciously note you. And when you approach them directly, there's a better place, or rather it's a better, it lands better. Very quickly, let me go on to the last one. The one you asked about exploit and leveraging relationships without exploiting. Things have to be reciprocal. Is it reciprocal? What's the right word? You need to reciprocate. And when you get to a point where you can start seeing that now you are milking the connection more than you are contributing to it, then you can easily suspect that you are probably tiptoeing towards being an expense to this relationship, or rather to this connection. So I think what I'd advise is that reciprocate, build up capital before you need it, so that when you need to withdraw, at least you also have shown kindness, have shown value, have added to this person, and you're able to then withdraw. People who are always withdrawing without contributing. And obviously, I'm not saying contributing and withdrawing at the same time. I mean, there's people that give me money, but I can never give them back money. But there's some value to them that is meaningful as money is to me. You understand? I'm just trying to say reciprocal doesn't mean returning the same. It just means returning the same kind of value to the receiver. Let me pause here.
Oh, wow. Reciprocation and just being strategic about it. I think that's the good word about starting those conversations and wanting to be noticed as well. Just being strategic. I'm going to ask this one, Faith, name, in case I just want to read, maybe let me just read one comment from user who said that the content of the presentation was well organized and easy to follow, that they appreciate the enthusiasm and what is it brought to the and patient brought to the patient. Oh yes, the number that I put up there was for those of us who have been attending sessions and maybe have failed to fill in the registration form earlier. You're allowed to just send me a text to say, look, I have been attending the past few sessions, at least since yesterday. At least you attended one of the last 2, so that by the end of the week, you can be eligible to get the certificate to say you have actually attended the entire super week of leadership sessions and then been empowered from these super leaders. But anyway, I wanted to ask Faith, right? Faith, the people who are here are leading in different spaces, right? They're leading also in business. And I want you to just tap a little bit, because you spoke a lot on our personal social capital. I want you to tap a little bit into how social capital can actually enable business growth. For those who are entrepreneurs and for those who are leading the business and just market reach as well, how social capital can do that and how one can utilize social capital as strategies that you've shared in a business environment. Let's say, for example, there's a person who's here who wants to say, look, I want to expand and get my business into another country, into another African country. I want to expand into another province, for example. I want to expand, into another sector. How do I do that? And how do I use social capital in those spaces? Is it just attending events? What do I do? And how does it help in the business environment?
That's a great question, Leader. Thank you so much. Let me bring 2 points to answer that. Number one, the big thing that social capital gives you is trust. People that you have built solid connections with, they can trust you. And when business leaders can trust you, then they can give you access to their ecosystems. Like I was saying earlier when we started, every leader is in a certain ecosystem that you are trying to tap into. But they need to trust your brand to be even able to lead you there, because if they lead you there and you do wrong, it damages their brand as well. So I think the first key part is that even in business, it's very important, because the people that you are intentional to build social capital with are the people that will trust you and then open these ecosystems for you. And the methodology is the same. Those 4 steps that I gave you to build would be the same whether you are building in business. But I'm just trying to say how it really helps in businesses, because it solidifies the trust that they have in you. And generally, businessmen share ecosystems across one another because they trust one another. If I can trust you that you won't rob this supplier that has been supplying me for long, or you won't underservice this customer, then I'm able to refer you. I'm just trying to say the anchor, or rather one of the key anchors of social capital is trust, and trust is generally how business flows. I don't know if I've covered your question, Leader.
Yes.
How we use social capital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have, because I'm sitting here and I'm just picking up from the mind of people who are seated here, who are running their startups, and they're looking at Faith in the UAE. Faith is a Black South African woman in an environment where the culture is perceived as not necessarily pro women and not necessarily pro South African Black women, for that matter.
Yeah.
And here's Faith, young woman, and not coming here because she's a celebrity or because she's got millions of dollars, but she's coming here and she's new. But at the end of the day, in about a year's time, Faith has been able to host a powerful TEDx event in Dubai. He has not only studied there, but built real quality relationships. And one is wondering, was it just LinkedIn? Was it just sending a text or being interested in people? Did everyone just happen to pour that interest into Faith? How do I do it? And that's what I wanted you to tap into. How do I do it? How do I do it? What if I'm entering into a business space that is not, it's not familiar to the environment that I'm in, and I want to get into a new market? How do I do it? How do I go via, or how do I navigate the cultural barriers, stuff like that? How do I do it?
I love that question, Leader, because it also gives me an opportunity to reflect, on my journey, this side. So I think for me, the important part, just give me a second, Leader.
All right. Well, Faith is on there.
All right. I'm back, Leader. I'm back.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I was talking about how I've learned that you never wanna reach people and be the needy one who's asking for something.
Mhm.
Reach out to people and make them feel amazing about themselves.
Mhm.
You don't want to call and say, hey, please help me. I need this. Oh, please help me. I'm trying to do this and that. Immediately it turns people off. You wanna reach people and celebrate where they are, celebrate what they're doing. And not only in conversation. Trying to get a meeting must be after a series of hard work that you've been trying to do to signal your interest in them before you even send them an invite. So I think for me, what was quite clear, what I did from the beginning was to say, here we are building relationships, here we're building connections. And what's going to be important is that I'm going to have to build my social brand to align to what's meaningful to them. And I mean, obviously, I'm choosing people that I naturally am aligned to. So I'm not faking this alignment. I'm just signaling it. So you're gonna have to signal the similarities. Even when you are meeting them, you're not meeting them to ask for anything. You're meeting them just to get more. Do you know how much people love talking about themselves? Do you know how much people love talking about what they are doing? Give them an opportunity to shine. Give them an opportunity to tell you how amazing this is. One of the skills Manda was teaching me is how to listen attentively. When you listen and agree. Listen and be, yeah, that's important. Oh, wow, interesting. I'm just trying to say, you in a conversation, don't try and be the superhero because it's not going to end well. Yes, you are the superhero, but that's not the point in this context. In this context, you're trying to build a connection. In this context, you're trying to build trust. In this context, you're trying to make some people find interest in your story as well. And you do that by being interested in their story. So I think how I did it when I got to, I mean, even with the different speakers I had at the TEDx event, it's people that over time, over 2 months, you're going to just follow and just comment and like, and then invite them for coffee. But in that coffee, you're not trying to pitch how amazing you are. You're trying to understand, what are they doing? Why did they do it? What was more difficult in this? You know how people, the conversation becomes deeper when you reach onto those soul level conversations as opposed to high level things like, yeah, I've achieved this and I've achieved that. Things, ask them, why did you move to Dubai? How did you move to Dubai? What are the challenges you faced on this and that and that? On today, what's the one thing that you wish you'd have told me earlier? You've taught yourself earlier. Those are soul level conversations that might have a longer imprint. So don't try and celebrate rather and highlight how amazing you are. Yes, you are. Signal it. I keep saying this again and again. Have a subtle way of signaling your value, but anchor on the other person. And I promise you, people want to surround themselves with such.
Wow. Thank you for that. I think that's what I was looking for. And you got the issue of connection. Connection. If we think about connection, and not just, I think sometimes the word networking makes it feel very formal, that becomes very difficult to understand how to do it. But once you put the word connection, it means be human around people. Tap into that space where the normal engagement that they usually have don't tap into.
Yes.
How did you get this far? What makes you tick? What do you enjoy about doing this? Why did you actually get into this business? What influenced you? What do you think your purpose? Just these questions around,
Yes.
showing deep interest in other people's lives and what they do. I think it goes a long way. So thank you for actually.
Just one last part, Leader, if I can just
Yes.
comment on one.
Yes, please.
One of the resounding comments I always get after every conversation, it's like, you always ask amazing questions.
Wow.
You have to premeditate the questions you're going to ask at first. I think at this point, for me at least, I've learned how to ask right.
Yeah.
But as a start, premeditate your conversations. Let it not be close-ended conversations. Do you like Dubai? Yes or no? No. Of the top 3 things that you love about Dubai, tell me one that you wish you would replicate back at home. Can you see that? That's a thought-provoking, and it connects very important dimensions of who this person is. I'm just trying to say, one of the key skills you're gonna have to master is the skill of asking the right questions, and you have to premeditate that.
Wow. Yeah, no, Faith, we can talk forever. As I said, the key thing is intention, intention, intention. You cannot premeditate without intention. You cannot arrange and contact people and plan to have coffees and reach out to people without intentions. You cannot connect with people without being intentional about it. It doesn't happen by accident. So thank you, thank you for sharing your heart out. If there's anyone who has a comment, you're free to say it. But in the meantime, I would really love your feedback. The team would really love to get your feedback. So we have created a link, which is just short form. It will just take you less than 3 minutes to just fill out. We just need to get your feedback. Rate us. Tell us how the session was. Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? What did you not like? What did you value? What was outstanding? What could we improve on? Rate us out of 5. We'll appreciate that because it helps us improve. We are an institution of excellence, and we always want to improve. We always want to get better. As you remember, excellence is not a destination, it is a journey. It is a journey, and we want to get there. Otherwise, Faith, thank you super much for sharing your heart out tonight. And I must say to everyone that is here, we need to pray for Faith and just be kind to her. Before this session started, she gave me a call and let me know that she just lost a friend, very close friend of hers, in a tragic accident. So yeah, please do understand and be kind to her and send her those condolence messages. Faith, thank you for sacrificing even after receiving such tragic news. We really appreciate the sacrifice that you've made, and you have served us very well. And may your friend's soul rest in perfect peace. Thank you so much, leader.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
For everyone else, it's a good night. But tomorrow, please be on time, 7 p.m. We have yet another Super Week session, the fourth one. We're going to be having Zianda Bam. Awesome leader who's going to be speaking to us on authenticity and purpose. So I'm looking forward to have all of you here. Please be on time. Remember, invite someone next to you. Let us multiply the leadership skills and the lessons that we are learning to improve one another. Let us share them to other people and ensure that they are coming in and they're learning and they're picking up the lessons they need to improve themselves as well. Otherwise, have a beautiful evening and keep unfolding your leadership capacity. Good night.